More details on John Cena's shocking heel turn at WWE Elimination Chamber over the weekend. Travis Scott was a part of the segment involving The Rock, Cena, and Cody Rhodes. But is he possibly going to step inside of a WWE ring and wrestle? We have an update on a possible Kenny Omega versus Hiroshi Tanahashi match before Tanahashi calls it a career in professional wrestling. And a major stipulation has been added to the Hollywood-ending match between timeless Toni Storm and Mariah May at AEW Revolution. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. First of all, apologies for missing the Elimination Chamber stream this past weekend. Unfortunately, couldn't make it due to being under the weather and other commitments the following day. But we now have a free road to WrestleMania. We're going to be having live streams for episodes of Raw and SmackDown, particularly the ones in Europe, as well as post shows. In addition to that, we're going to be adding in new content, new videos, possible live streams as well, discussing the news of the day. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe, click the like button, because we're going full force on to WrestleMania. And talking of which, the biggest story in professional wrestling, the biggest story right now, it finally happened. John Cena finally turned heel after decades of being a babyface and the face of WWE, with a lot of integration from The Rock and also Travis Scott. Now, if you didn't see, The Rock appeared at the end of Elimination Chamber to help with John Cena's heel turn in a very protected secret that, of course, launches John Cena and Cody Rhodes into the main event of WrestleMania for the undisputed WWE Championship after John Cena won the Elimination Chamber match this weekend at the Premium Live event. Now, according to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, internally, the segment was listed as third, and as reported by numerous outlets at the time, it was going to be third on the show, with the men's chamber match closing the show. It running at the end wasn't a last-minute change. It was simply placed third internally to protect the Cena heel turn. As a reminder, obviously what was reported online on the rundown was subject to change. Of course, WWE again had put that in third place because they knew the rundown of the show would get out. Therefore, they wanted to protect Cena turning heel to close the show. Now, according to Sapp and Fightful Select, WWE went to great lengths to keep it a secret, with Triple H noting that he had the truck laid out so he could handle everything with the turn, as only a few people needed to know what was happening and what was aware of actually what was coming. The company ended up protecting it well, as it came to a shock to many within the organization. John Cena and Cody have known that the plan was for the two of them to wrestle at WrestleMania for quite some time. Thus far, Fightful say they've not heard that there are any plans for The Rock to wrestle at the show. In the fall, WWE Creative was told to create plans as if The Rock wouldn't be wrestling at WrestleMania. Much of The Rock's creative and planning behind the scenes in WWE provided to WWE staff and creative on a need-to-know basis. As he pointed out, he typically collaborates with Brian Gewirtz and Triple H directly. Now, those that Fightful are said that the poster that dropped on Friday was, quote, 100% intentional foreshadowing, and that Travis Scott was planned to be a part of the angle at that time. WWE had planned well over a month for Travis Scott to come in for this specific show, but Fightful say they don't know if he was specifically planned for the angle for that long either. Now, there were a few details on exactly how long this angle has been firmly planned, whether it goes back to Cena announcing his retirement tour back at Money in the Bank last year, through Bad Blood, of course, when The Rock made that cryptic appearance to close the show, whether it was put in place on the Raw on Netflix premiere earlier this year, or anything like that. As I stated, and as for Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select stated, much of The Rock's creative has been on a need-to-know basis, and Cena's involvement with WWE this year hasn't required much creative briefing across the board. When Fightful asked about The Rock's appearance at Bad Blood, nobody had been told specifically that was to set up this, but it's believed it could have been a pitch that far back, as Cena/Cody was in creative plans shortly after that. However, there were others that believed that there was some intentional vagueness to fit in whatever The Rock could possibly be involved with moving forward. Now, most that Fightful spoke to over the weekend in WWE believe that The Rock will be at WrestleMania in Las Vegas, but that was far from being confirmed. Fightful have heard nothing to lend on what he'd be doing at the event. Of note, there were two writers listed internally for the segment, Ed Koskey and Brian Parise. There was no producer listed. However, considering the nature of the Elimination Chamber rundown being intentionally out of order, it's best not to take that as complete gospel. Now, John Cena is not advertised for the next two episodes of Raw, meaning he will not be on on Netflix this evening, maybe in person. We could see a pre-tape, we could see a vignette, something like that. The Rock did say after Elimination Chamber that he'd be flying to Africa over the weekend. Now, there were reports, we brought it to you, spoilers, leaks, what have you, saying that Drew McIntyre was going to win the match over the weekend from Dr. Chris Featherstone. Fightful are reporting that contrary to those rumors, Drew McIntyre was never the plan to win this match, possibly with it being leaked out there to get people off the scent of a Cena victory and a John Cena heel turn. Now, at the post-show press conference, Triple H commented on Cena's turn. He said, quote, "John Cena drops a nuke. I've been fortunate to be around a lot of the biggest things in the business in the last 30 years. I don't know if I've ever felt a more powerful moment of the entirety of John Cena's career, being the one guy that never really saw when he became John Cena and the champion. You didn't see this moment coming. When you get to a place in your career where you know undoubtedly you have months left on your career and the thing that launched you to the rest of the world, movie stardom, everything else that he has in his life, it puts you in a different perspective and puts you in a place of it's now or never. You can ride that out and rest on the things that you have done, and you couldn't blame John for doing that, to say, hey, I'm coming in, I'm going to ride this nostalgia wave for the next 10 months, I'm going to wave at everybody, I'm going to do the tour, come to your town, say hi, expect you to react to the nostalgia of John Cena. Someone like him can double down and say, screw it, I want to be challenged right to the last moment, I want to go out on my shield and give this everything I have, I want to challenge myself and do something different, I want to be afraid of it, I want to go out there and do it all." That's the beauty of John Cena. He's always been the guy to do what is best, but he's always been the guy to jump out on a limb, to get out there, stick his neck on the line and gamble on himself. He did that again. It was incredible to watch. There was a moment where Cody was down in the ring and Rock, Cena and Travis Scott were in the aisle, and I thought to myself, holy shit, it doesn't get bigger than that. It's just an epic moment. I feel like it's one of those nights where 20 years from now, you're going to be saying, holy shit, that night in Toronto was incredible. Certainly incredible indeed. Now, interestingly enough, one WWE star that's having a meltdown is, of course, R-Truth, who John Cena was his childhood hero, even though the R-Truth is significantly older than Cena. But since the heel turn, R-Truth removed his social media profiles and replaced them with plain black images with white text saying, "Why, John? Say it ain't so, John." Other posts he's made since Chamber include "Think I might crash out," and claiming that the images being posted of a heel Cena are AI generated. In addition to that, there's been a response from 16-time world champion Ric Flair. Of course, if John Cena defeats Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, he'll become a 17-time WWE world champion, breaking Flair's record in the process. Taken to ex-WWE Hall of Famer Ric Flair said the following, quote, "It's been 25 years since I won my last 16th World Championship, according to the WWE. Blood, sweat, and tears. Harley Race, Bruiser Brody, Terry Funk, Dusty Rhodes, Bret Hart, Undertaker, Ricky Steamboat. The list is endless of world-class opponents, unparalleled. My 1984 schedule has actually been called impossible to perform. 60 and 90-minute matches. Let's get serious. John Cena, I love you and respect you, but you ain't taking nothing from Cody Rhodes. If I have to fight my way through security to hit the ring, I will. I'll take the day off blood thinners. Let's effing go. Let's do this." Now, speaking of that segment at the end of Elimination Chamber, Travis Scott, of course, he was involved in it, and he's had a busy year. He's had a #1 hit single this year and is part of one of the biggest wrestling angles of all time. And according to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, it's been in the works for quite some time. Scott and WWE have had a recurring partnership in recent months. Scott was presented with a new hardcore title. His single 4x4 is Raw's new theme song. He also appeared on the Raw on Netflix premiere with Jey Uso coming through the crowd. It was noted in January that WWE was expecting to do more with Scott, but it goes far deeper than just that. Those that Fightful have spoken to in WWE say that most in the company didn't know that he'd be involved in this angle as of that time, but they've since heard that in mid-January, wheels were already in motion for him to be included in a major angle. The Rock answered a question regarding Scott possibly wrestling and said it is a possibility. Fightful Select has since learned that Scott has been doing wrestling training, with one source saying that it was at a WWE Legends wrestling school. There have been discussions to have Scott work matches in the future. Fightful say they don't have a timetable on when that could actually occur. Now, moving over to New Japan Pro Wrestling here, could we see Kenny Omega versus Hiroshi Tanahashi before Tanahashi retires? During Kenny Omega's road to recovery in 2024, the former AEW World Champion made a surprise appearance in New Japan Pro Wrestling, which eventually led to his comeback match against Gabe Kidd at Wrestle Dynasty in January. At one point in time, Omega had a sit-down meeting with New Japan Pro Wrestling president Hiroshi Tanahashi, where Omega asked the Japanese wrestling legend if he'd be willing to team up with him in the near future, as Tanahashi is set to officially retire from wrestling at the beginning of 2024. 2026. Rumors of a match against the Young Bucks circulated, but according to a new report from Fightful Select, this match was never going to happen. According to sources within AEW, their creative team had not been broached on the idea of having Omega and Tanahashi team up for the Wrestle Dynasty event, or any event for that matter. Sources in New Japan also confirmed this, as they claim to have never pitched the idea of Omega and Tanahashi teaming together, and that their sit-down discussion that went viral was simply edited in a way that led people to believe a match would be happening. One of the reasons why Omega said that he would like to team up with Tanahashi is because he has come a long way since being the Ace's rival in Japan. Omega's final match in the company before becoming an executive vice president in AEW was against Tanahashi in the main event of Wrestle Kingdom 13 in 2019, where Tanahashi walked away with the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Despite crossing paths in multiple tag team matches prior to Wrestle Kingdom 13, the only other singles match between the two men was back in 2016, where Omega defeated Tanahashi to win the IWGP Intercontinental Championship in Omega's first match since becoming the leader of the Bullet Club. And finally, a stipulation has been added to the Hollywood ending match at AEW Revolution. AEW Women's World Champion Timeless Toni Storm has missed the past week of AEW television after Mariah May's brutal attack on the February 22nd episode of AEW Collision, where the former champion vowed to finally rid All Elite Wrestling of the woman she believes is beneath her and take back the title she feels is rightfully hers. Storm and May's third match was already slated to be taking place at the upcoming Revolution pay-per-view on March 9th, but during the March 1st episode of AEW Collision, Storm laid out the stipulation for her and May's Hollywood ending. Storm wants no countouts, no disqualifications, no rope breaks, no holds barred, and falls to count anywhere in the Crypto.com arena in Los Angeles, California, with the champion asking May if she was prepared to meet God, because on March 9th at Revolution, she will finally get to meet her. The Hollywood ending will be the rubber match between the two women, as they've met twice in the ring over the past year, with both of them picking up a victory each. At AEW All in London, August 2024, May dethroned Storm to become the new AEW Women's World Champion in her home country, all while her family was sitting in the front row, even though May did slap her own mother during that match. Storm would get her victory back when they travelled to her home country of Australia in February 2025, when she defeated May in the main event of Grand Slam Australia to become the first ever four-time AEW Women's World Champion. However, due to May's attack on February 22nd, Storm has not wrestled a match since winning the title in Australia, and May will be hoping that Storm's fourth reign as champion is her shortest one to date. But there you go, guys, the latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe bottom right hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.